Angle, guys. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. This is the broad spectrum reading for the Tarotscope reading for the sign of Aquarius for the month of April of 2021. So this is for people with sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Aquarius. You may want to watch this just to get an idea of what kind of April you may have. If you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Aquarius, you may want to watch this. I would consider 3 or more planets to be heavily placed. If things make sense, great. Please feel free to utilize the reading in however you see fit. If things don't make sense, that's fine too. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It could be where your houses are, what planets are placed in what houses or to what degrees they are. All of that can factor into these readings. So don't worry if things don't make sense. It may just not be applying to you as an Aquarius. But if it does make sense, or you can sort of, apply certain things that I say into areas of your life, feel free to utilize them in the to the best of your ability. Take what you need and sort of leave the rest. I will say, if you do make any decisions in your day-to-day life after having watched any of my videos, know that those decisions are fully your responsibility, 100%. Never take anything that I say over that of a professional in their field, like a doctor, a lawyer, or a therapist. Always listen to them first and foremost, and then use your own highest intelligence and intuition when making your decisions. So let's see what's going on with my Aquarians for this month. The Signifier card, which is the card that will go in the wooden easel there. Oh, by the way, that link in that address in the corner of the screen is my link tree. It has all of my links to how to book a private reading, follow me on social media, all the different places where you can find me, my Patreon page, my YouTube channel, all of that stuff. So you can find me via that link if you need to get in touch with me. And you can message me at the business page if you need to. So this first card that goes in the wooden easel is called the Signifier. It kind of gives us insight into sort of what the theme is for the month for my Aquarians, what could be going on, something you might need to focus on or think about throughout that month. And the deck that I chose to use for the air signs is the Spirit Messages deck by John Holland. And so let's see what card comes out for Aquarius. For April, what do the Aquarians need to know? Okay, stand your ground. Standing your ground is an empowering, confidence-building action to take from time to time. Now is the moment when you need to stand your ground. You know you can do it, and you know that by doing so, you will be the victor. So I love that, a couple things. First off, we have this tree growing out of this man, and we have the pillar, right? That sign of strength, which I love that for the Aquarians. I also love that there's this acorn seed here from this standing your ground, or from this strength that you might be channeling in the month of April. You could be sort of beginning to set seeds in motion for things that you don't necessarily understand right away, but they might become fruitful later, right, Aquarius? So keep that in mind. Standing your ground and being in your own truth. So sort of like, standing up for what you know to be right. All of that sort of stuff could set about paths or new beginnings, because I kind of feel like this acorn is definitely pulling my attention, that you sort of maybe don't realize will come out of this month. Does that make sense? Like, this to me would be like sort of the, how when you have you seed the field, then you tend to the field, then you harvest the field. This is the seeding period, right? Where we're laying the groundwork and we don't even realize it by, being true to ourselves or what we know to be true, okay? So be strong this month. Stand your ground doesn't mean be an asshole either, Aquarius. I'm just going to say that. I have an Aquarian moon, so I can say that to you guys. And I know I know quite a few Aquariuses that can be, right dicks when they want to be, myself included. And so stand your ground. I from this card, because it's green, also it takes me to the heart chakra, to that space of healing. This is about remaining true to yourself and living in growing within your own truth. This isn't about forcing other people to your will, okay? Okay, Aquarius, I hope I haven't offended anybody by saying that, but I just want to make sure that we're clear about that. If somebody's wronging you by any means, or, you know, mistreating you, certainly don't put up with it, right? But we don't necessarily need to stay there and have our buttons pushed or fight with them, right? And I think from doing that, when we do it from this space of healing and from truth for ourselves, we do set about those acorn seeds that bring about that mighty oak that, you know, can bring about so much change, growth, and beauty in our lives, right? And I use that as a metaphor. So keep that in mind going through April. Let's see what the cards have to say for my Aquarius. So this first card is where you guys are centered at throughout the month of April. You won't be here the whole time, but you'll kind of go in and out of this card. It gives me insight into sort of where you're at, but what you could also be potentially creating for the future. So let's see what we've got. So we have the Three of Pentacles. Now, it's interesting that we have this Stand Your Ground card and we have the Three of Pentacles as your center. Pentacles is earth energy, which is not necessarily your energy or a complementary energy, but it is a material energy. It is earth element, right? The Three of Pentacles is usually a very beneficial card in the sense that it talks about sort of collaboration, coming together with others, working together in such a way that you guys are able to kind of complete and get done what it is that you need to get done, and you otherwise by yourself could not have been able to. Does that make sense? And so it's usually a very successful card, and it has a beauty to it that it's like about everybody bringing their own skill set to the table. Now, when I see this as your center, it says to me, interact with people this month, collaborate with people this month, find opportunities where you can really bring your own skill set to the table and share that with others, right? But with this Stand Your Ground card here, I also think that there's with the collaboration aspect of the Three of Pentacles, be mindful of who you collaborate with, or be mindful of where you get involved, be mindful of how you collaborate. You want things to grow and be fruitful. You don't want things to be sort of, what's the word, like invalidated, undermined, that kind of a thing. I don't necessarily get that feeling with the Three of Pentacles in the center. I feel like this is sort of Aquarius bringing their, you know, when I think of the three there, this three here, I think of like mind, body, spirit, right? And we're bringing this to a material project or idea. If there's something we feel strongly about in the month of April, definitely stand our ground, but do it in a way that's loving and caring, right? And don't allow others to sort of like tromp all over us or use us in any way. But we are going to be interacting with others. There is going to be this crossover that's happening for you guys. That would be that Three of Pentacles, and it's throughout the entirety of the month. So you might find yourself getting frustrated with others for whatever reason, right? Each one of you, it's maybe a different thing, but you're going to have to interact with others to achieve your goals in April. That's certainly the key. And that's the Three of Pentacles to me. But also the Stand Your Ground also indicates that you guys are going to be interacting with others. So not to sort of take that lightly, or you know, I don't think Aquarius is a pushover at all. So I don't think you guys would be pushed over, but don't allow that to happen either. All right, so the next card is your foundation card. This card indicates from the past as to what was going on that allowed for all of these cards to come into play. This card can also be, sometimes the memory of this card can be what is driving everything right now, or holding everything in the present in place, or driving it into the future. So that's why we look at it. So this is the Four of Swords. This is Aquarian energy. This is air element energy. The Four of Swords is about rest and sort of withdrawal. So my Aquarians maybe were in a period in the past recently where you guys were pulling yourselves back together, maybe clearing your space, withdrawing from others. Now you're coming out of sort of the cavern or the cave. That's the Three of Pentacles. But you're ready to kind of grow. You're ready to do new things. Maybe you're ready to trust again, or allow people and their opinions in. Maybe some opinions or you know, interactions with others in the past have caused you pain or upset, and that's why you've withdrawn in the past. But now it's time to sort of step forward and re-collaborate, but to also do that in a way that's a little bit more healthy, a little bit more true to you. I like that this Four of Swords is your foundation card, because to me it says that Aquarians were taking care of themselves. This would indicate that self-care too. This would also indicate that whatever steps you do take in the month of April, they will be from a place of not only collectively for the well-being of the collective, which is something that's very Aquarian, but also your own well-being is important too with this Four of Swords in the foundation. So I like that there's a stability to this Four of Swords too that leads you throughout this month while you are collaborating with people. The next card is the Spirit or Soul card. This card tells me what your spirit or soul is working on in the month of April and what it wants you to focus on. So this is the King of Pentacles. Okay, so big plans for the Aquarians. You guys want to bring in some sort of riches, some sort of goals. You guys have got plans. The King of Pentacles would certainly be about that master manifesting idea. You need to understand that you know how to do what you need to do. That's what your spirit is trying to tell you. Your spirit knows what it needs or how it needs to go about making things happen. The clarity of this Four of Swords, of the time that you've taken, definitely speaks to the possibility of having acquired the awareness of this King of Swords. This King of Pentacles during that time. The stand your ground could be, and I don't feel like this is about bending others to your will, but it's about being true to yourself, Aquarius. That's really the important part in this reading, is my feeling. The Three of Pentacles, you're not going to be able to do this alone, but what you know or how you know you need to do this is correct. Does that make sense? So whatever it is you are trying to create, and you are trying to create something, especially with that three in the center and that king in the spirit space, it's something that's very near and dear and important to you. And so that's where we stand our ground. That's where we remain true to what we know. We go about doing things in a certain way that allow us to sort of seed the field properly so that we can bring in the harvest properly. Does that make sense? And so that's the part of this that is the stand your ground aspect to this. Try and go about doing whatever it is you're doing in a very right way, and you should be fine. Let's see what the outside influences are, because that could be tell us or indicate a little bit if there's any disruption, but I don't get any sense of anything wrong or off here. It just feels to me like it's about remaining true to ourselves. We've listened to the inner voice. We understand it. It's there and ready to work with us. So now let's get ourselves and others in line to make it happen. So the outside influences are things that could be affecting you either positively or negatively. They are sometimes people, sometimes events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on you, right? So let's see what they are. So we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is about balance. This is also about finances and maybe financial insecurity. This could be about the wonkiness of others and their ideas coming at you, especially with that Three of Pentacles in the center. This could be about like they're feeling like there's a lack or not enough going around. With that King of Pentacles up in the spirit space, it says to me that my Aquarians want something more than maybe what's being offered around them. And so that might be also another area where you need to stand your ground or be true to what you know to be true, to want and desire and pursue for more, versus just taking what little bits the environment or people around you are offering. Expect more, or how do I want to say this? Like, try and lift people up in a way that you can get more out of them through that Three of Pentacles collaboration, versus this Two of Pentacles is a bit rocky and up and down and all over the place. It's not really the best way to get it doesn't feel like the most easiest way to get the results that we want. So let's see what the other outside influence is. So this is the Ten of Wands. So this is about Ten of Wands is usually about closing of chapters, releasing of a burden, letting things go. This is fire energy, so it is complementary to to Aquarius earth energy, to Aquarius's air energy, right? But when I look at this, I feel like the outside influences feel a bit challenging. Only because the Two of Pentacles doesn't feel like enough, right? And it feels like it's sort of out of balance and we have to maintain it. We have to do a lot of work to keep it maintained. And then the Ten of Wands feels like it's almost there, but not quite. And it's like a lot of work involved in getting us there. But I think that that lot of work is us if we try and do it on our own, Aquarius. That's the problem here. That's why that Three of Pentacles is in the center. And that King of Pentacles could be, even though it's in the spirit space, it could be us trying to take on, you know, too much. The stand your ground idea here to me feels like, yes, we need to be true to ourselves, but we also need to have kind of like help. That Three of Pentacles says we're not going to be able to do this alone. And if we alienate ourselves from others, and we have done that in the past with that Four of Swords, right? If we withdraw from others or we try and do it all on our own with the strength of that King of Pentacles, we're going to find that we're going to be stuck with a heavier burden in that Ten of Wands than we realize. Yes, maybe we can accomplish it, but it's going to be a lot of hard work, whatever it is that we're working towards. And each one of you Aquarians is going to be working towards something different in April. But whatever it is, it speaks to this idea of if we try and take it on by ourselves, it's going to prove too heavy of a burden. And we may not be able to, like, sort of, you know, we might have to stress ourselves out to deal with it. If we bring in others and we're not sort of like, you know, if we're bringing in the wrong type of others or that sort of a thing, then we get more of that Two of Pentacles energy, which doesn't feel like quite enough. And it feels sort of like we're juggling and we're struggling. There's a fine line here that I think that we need to sort of manage this month that allows us to get what we want, but also delegate or find assistance, right? With the right people that are going to give us what we need. And we need to be true to that, right? Don't accept like imposters, imitators, anybody that's sort of not pulling their weight. That's not for you either, because that's also going to create the wonkiness of the Two of Pentacles or the burden of the Ten of Wands. So we have to stay true to our dream too. That could also be the stand your ground. Like whatever it is we're pursuing, whatever it is we want, we have to remain true to that too, and not go like, oh, well, okay, this is the best I can come up with. No, we have to go back to the drawing board and find something better or something that works better for us to get us there, because that King of Pentacles wants what he wants. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So the next card is the potential outcomes card. This card tells me where things are going to end up at the month's end for the majority of the Aquarians, barring that nothing major changes. Now, this card could, if it's negative, it's only a warning. It could be used as a warning, and we can make choices and changes through free will to affect the outcome so that this card does not have to come to pass. But if this card is positive, we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards this card, and we don't have to do much to change it. So here's the card. I'll take it. This is Temperance. This is the sign of Sagittarius, which is a complementary energy, a fire sign. Temperance is all about balance, but on a very big, grand scale. Temperance also represents peace, beauty, kindness, softness, all of that, right? We get what we want. Temperance is also associated with Sag, which is Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and good luck. So that's very much in line with Aquarians' well-being and what Aquarians want. Whatever it is that we are looking for, as long as we walk that fine line and we are careful about not taking on too much, but also standing our ground and having realistic expectations of others and picking the right people for the collaborations to get us to where we want to be or to the things that we desire, we should get there. Temperance says to me, by managing that fine line, by paying attention and honoring it, being at peace with it, at the end of the month, we start to see the profits, we start to see the payoff, we start to see the opportunities showing themselves to us in a very kind, soft way, where having stood our ground does indeed plant the seeds of these acorns, and the growth happens, and the beauty happens, and the expansion happens in a very large and grand scale for us. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Please leave me a message or comment if it does. If you're interested in a private reading, please contact me through the Linktree links. Please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. And thank you so much for tuning in, Aquarius. Have a wonderful April, and I will see you guys next month. All right, take care. Bye-bye.